Now we're going to talk about the system menu. First, we'll begin with the display settings. So touch display, and you get a screen that shows a number of options. The first option is brightness. The default from the factory is 15. The lower you make this value, the longer your battery will last. I found that 10 works quite well for me, and I can see the screen just fine. The next choice on this screen is the backlight off. Keep in mind it says backlight off, so if the backlight off is off, the light is actually on. So eventually you're going to want to change this and increase the time here. Touch it, it's blue, and we can set it at 30 seconds. So the backlight will turn off the minute we quit touching the screen after 30 seconds. Touch Sense is number 1. That's the most sensitive. That's how sensitive the touch screen is. And then next below is the logo color. The default is what it is, but you can change that color. Red, green, blue, pink, whatever you like. Okay? And if you hit reset, it goes back to default. The last setting on this screen is really important. It's called outdoor display. Currently it is off. It changes some of the color settings for the graphic displays, makes things easier to see under certain circumstances with high light background. Touch it, it's on. Touch it again, it's off. The next option we're going to look at is called ETC Set, standing for Etc. Set. Touch the icon. It gives us a number of choices. The first choice is Touch Unlock. If you activate this function, you will have to put in a password, and you will have to remember the password to get back into your transmitter. I'm kind of on in years, so I'm having trouble remembering passwords, so I do not use this function. The second option on the screen is your battery type. It is LiPo, but you can change it to nickel metal hydride if you decide to use a different battery. Next online is the battery warning. It defaults to 3.6 volts for a single cell LiPo. You can touch it and increase it and have it go off sooner, or decrease it and have it go off later. The transmitter works at about 3.4 volts, so it'd be nice if you got your warning somewhere around 3.6. The next option on the screen is the power on melody. That's that little song it sings when you turn it off and on. If you find it gets on your nerve, turn it off, and it won't make any noise anymore. Now the next two entries are really useful. The first one is called the voice volume. It's currently off. If I touch it, I can increase it. You can hear the increases, and I go down and you can hear it go off. So that is the touch sounds, the audio feedback from your telemetry. This is where that volume is controlled. On this version of the firmware, there's an option over here called Null, and that allows us to assign any one of the controls to control the sound. So I'm going to touch it. Whenever you see the select screen with no and clear, no means I made a mistake, I don't want to do that, and clear means clear the current setting. Anytime you see this screen, just touch the control that you want to use, and I'm going to reach up here and I'm going to turn DV3 on, okay? And now you can see that DV3 has been registered here, and now watch the volume indicator. It goes up to 5. I'll make some noise here. Okay, and it goes down to off. So now you can control the volume while you're flying or out of the field just by assigning a control. The last volume control is the Vario volume. That is the volume of the beep that occurs when you have a Vario in your airplane. Okay, the next option on the system menu is warnings. Let's take a look at warnings and see what it has. Okay, these are warnings that will come on as you turn the transmitter on, except for one at the bottom. I'll talk about that. First of all, throttle hold. If it's on, when you turn on the transmitter, you will get an alarm telling you the throttle hold is on. The throttle cut is will also warn you if it's on, and throttle position defaults to on, and if you leave the stick too high and turn on the transmitter, you will get an alarm indicating throttle position is too high. And lastly, if you turn on phases and change the phases, you can get an alarm here. Now the bottom line, power off time, is actually something totally different. It's not a warning. If I touch it, it jumps to 30 seconds. I touch it again, it jumps to a minute, and so on, okay? So what this is a power off option on your transmitter. If you're a little bit senile like me, you might lay your transmitter down and forget to turn it off. If I set this at, say, 5 minutes. 5 minutes after I lay my transmitter down, the transmitter will turn itself off automatically. If you were to move a stick, a switch, or something else within that 5-minute period, it resets back to 0 and the 5 minutes begins to count up again. And that's that screen. Covered display, etc. Warning. Now we're going to go to stick mode. In the United States, the common mode is 2, okay? But if you do a factory reset, because this was designed in Germany, if you do a reset on the system, the default mode will come up 1. It's very easy to change modes at any time, and actually the modes are model specific, so you can change them if you want. Okay, so now I'm going to touch the mode button, and it changed to mode 3. And if you see, the assignments on each of the sticks has changed. Mode 4. If I tried to fly this way, I'm guaranteed a crash. Mode 1, I'm still crashing, and back to mode 2. Just that simple to change modes on the stick. Lastly and importantly is stick calibration. If you find that your sticks aren't responding like you would expect them to, you can come here and recalibrate your stick positions. So let's give it a shot. It's really simple. So I touch the icon. If you can see on the camera, there is a blue dot right in the center of the scale, and up on the top it says right, which indicates we are working on the right stick. So what I'm going to do is make the right stick's auto-centering. I'm going to put the throttle stick in the center, and we'll start the settings. So once the sticks are centered, I can press set. Now it's moved the blue dot to the top left corner, so I will move the right stick to the top left corner and press set. Now this blue dot has moved to the bottom corner, so now we'll move the stick in the other direction and press set. Immediately on finishing the right stick, it switches to the left stick and we have a red dot. So if I've got it centered here, I'm going to make it centered and press set. The red dot moves up to the left corner here, press set. The stick is moved to the bottom right corner, press set. And when you're done, you can save this calibration or cancel it. I'm going to say yes. And that is stick calibration.